Ooh, shiny. What's up, folks? Welcome back to 802 Garage, your home to endless project cars, where this project car back here, my 2001 Impreza 2.5 RS that has a JDM WRX swap in it, is actually making some progress. So I'm going to title this video, I think, what you're probably all going to think about me when you see what I've done for a bunch of today, but not the whole day. I am going to give you some updates and a closer look at the big progress on the car and let you know where I'm at. But first of all, I do want to talk to you about this down here. All this sort of shiny, definitely not new hardware. And since it seems to work out pretty well, you guys seem to like it, I am going to give you a montage and you're going to get to see what I know you've all been craving. You get to watch me polish my nuts and bolts and washers. So here we go. Yeah, we're gonna have a montage, bolt cleaning montage. Now basically this is all the hardware I have for the 2.5 RS, and I actually got most of it with the rear subframe and all of the suspension links and the knuckles that I got in exchange for a 30 rack of PBR a while back. All the nice shiny black parts that are going back onto the car. Basically, they all went into a bucket of various rust soak products to try to get any corrosion off of them, though most of them were in pretty good shape, and there is a little bit more actually on the desk that was so nice and still zinc plated that I didn't even put it in the rust solution. But regardless, I wanted to clean it all up before I put it back on the car. And I know a lot of you are just gonna be thinking, why would you bother doing this when it's so time consuming? And the truth is, well, one, it's hard to get this hardware. It's metric, it's OEM Subaru hardware, and it is in pretty good shape, even if it has some surface rust and it's, in various conditions, but all of it's still plenty good enough to take torque, hold the load. And as you can see, a lot of it cleans up pretty well. So the bottom line is this: rebuying all this hardware from Subaru would be pretty expensive, and buying metric hardware from a hardware store, for example, that matches it mostly, you still wouldn't get nice stuff like the conical dog nose bolts or nice flange head bolts, and it would be heinously expensive. I could do something like allensfasteners.com, but then I would have to do tons of research and matching and make sure I got all the right thread pitches and that I got everything and didn't miss anything, and it would still be pricey. So really, it just makes sense to reuse all this hardware. Most of the hardware that came off of the car, I'm definitely not reusing because it was in terrible, terrible condition, or it's just not as good as this stuff. I'm not sure exactly how long it took me to clean up all these nuts and bolts, but I will tell you that it probably would have taken me less time to get most of the rear end of the car back together. But really, to me, this is step A before step B of reassembly. You have to make sure that you have all the hardware, that it's in good shape and ready to be put back in. And if you don't clean it up and it's still got rust on it, chances are it's going to rust up faster again, and you may not even get proper torque numbers. You may have rust flakes that cause problems, make things not seat properly, etc. And to me, really, this is just worth it. So some of you may agree, some of you may not. You can, of course, leave it down in the comments. But also, this is the sort of thing that once I get into it, I just have a good time sitting there and going to town. I like restoring things, even if it's just little bolts. And then when I do put all this back on the car, I'm going to grease some of the bolts in places so that they don't rust. And I'm going to put anti-seize on them so that they don't seize into the car. And then, as you all know from the last video, if you were paying attention, this shell is almost certainly going to scrap eventually when I can find a clean shell. And therefore, almost all of this will be coming back off because I am going to be saving all these parts. GC chassis and GC parts are not getting any more common, and old parts do get more expensive at the dealer over time, as you all know. Look at, for example, 90 Supra stuff. I know it's far, far less common, but now that supply has dried up, you can end up paying, $900 for something that used to be $150 from the dealer. And it's going to be a similar situation eventually with these cars. So if I have stuff that's in good shape, I'm going to keep it. And not only that, but I plan to work on so many Subarus in the future. Having these random bits of hardware around, even if I don't use them for the intended purpose, is going to be nice. I did buy some really nice brand new hardware from Vermont Sports Car recently, but a lot of it is smaller stuff, engine-based stuff, and not this big heavy-duty stuff for suspension and whatnot. So this is really what I need to get the rear end done. As for the washers at the end here, that's the only thing that's actually going to hold me up, I think, because I want to get some new washers. I have only 3 of the old ones, and they're terribly, terribly rusted and pitted, and I had all these random Imperial washers that I found around and cleaned them up, even though they're not exactly the right size. So what I really want to do is go to the hardware store and find the widest washers I can with the tightest fitting hole on these bolts, probably in stainless if I can, but if not, just grade 8, nice zinc plated stuff. That way it really holds the subframe in place and won't rust up to everything and, you know, holds the bushings captive. Then I'll be a lot happier. So I probably will swap out the washers I did use on the car anyways. And so it was definitely a waste of time to clean up all these washers. But honestly, it was that sort of thing where I was on a roll. I already got these out just to see if they would fit. And since these washers will probably go to use later, you know, I cleaned them up. And yes, before you yell at me in the comments, I do realize that washers are incredibly cheap, especially Imperial, non-coated, probably grade 5 washers, okay? I do get it. These washers were cheap. Shouldn't have wasted my time on it. But like I said, I was on a roll. So speaking of the washers that I did put on the car, let's move on to the more exciting bits on the vehicle. So I'll get to the filler tube in a second, but first off, I mean, check this out. That looks so nice. And to me, that's super encouraging. The real bummer, of course, is that it's basically now the nicest thing on the car. And, you know, the rest of the vehicle is trash. But the other really nice thing is that it probably took me, I'm going to go with 1/50th the time to put in those 4 bolts as it did to take them out. I mean, literally, you know, less than 5 minutes to get those up, just a little bit of wiggling and finagling. It is from a different car, so it doesn't fit as perfectly as the old one did. But ironically, I didn't have any issues with the bolt that I re-welded the captive nut in, but I did have some issues with that front left one up there. Not sure why. It could just be some difference in tolerances in the subframe or paint that I got in there, whatever. But I did get it all fairly simply. So that is in, and as you can imagine, bolting all the rest of the stuff up, as long as I have the right bolts in the right places, is fairly simple. So I'm really happy about that, and I hope that that gives you all a glimmer of hope that this thing will actually move soon, because it does for me. And you can see that these cleaned up bolts do look pretty nice, even if they're not perfect. And the cleaned up washers, let me give you a little close up here. Yeah, so, you know, it would look really crappy if I put up this nice fancy black subframe and then put bolts in there that were still as rusty as, you know, the rest of this massive pile of junk. The other really cool thing, of course, which was necessary, is I did replace the filler tube. You can see that there. You can't tell anymore that the flange is completely rusted away behind that. It's got the proper gaskets in it. I cleaned those up. And here is the filler tube itself. It might look dirty, but that's just because I coated it with WD-40. But this actually ended up taking much longer than planned. Of course, pretty much blew my, what was it, 3-hour estimate out of the water, because it took me, I don't know, probably an extra hour or so of struggling with this thing, because on the OEM unit, this right here is actually detachable, these 2 pipes. And on this one, they're tack welded to this little bracket, which does not come off. So I could have broken the tack weld, but I didn't really feel right about doing that. And instead, I basically had to bend the bracket and the tubes profusely to get them to go through that hole into the other side where they have another soft line that meets. And so that was really just a huge pain in the butt. And I had to kind of bend the filler neck like this and move the strut out of the way and hang the caliper down there and then bend it up in place, tighten everything down, rebend the tubes. So yeah, that was a real pain in the butt. Plus cleaning this whole thing out and cleaning the rubber gasket you can see right here behind this flange. That also took some extra time. So it was probably, I don't know, a couple extra hours on that install. So there you go. Just another lesson in estimation there. I should have guessed that it would take me more like 5 hours, and instead I guessed 3, which was on top of my original super optimistic estimate of like 1 hour of installing that thing and cleaning up that frame rail or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess I should double my estimate, add another, you know, half, and then maybe double that. Maybe then I'll be close. Who knows? That's a good one. 2.5 times the original and then double it again. Someday I'll get faster, I promise. So basically just a quick update for tonight. I just wanted to let you know that now I am in full reassembly mode, other than I do want to get some other washers, and hopefully I do have all the hardware I need. Oh, and I did want to show you something kind of cool. So this is all hardware that I stole from, I believe it was a Volkswagen Tiguan, but it was the V10 version, I think it is. It's a big beastly engine that goes in that thing. And this is all the hardware to mount the subframe in the engine. And that car, I got it out of a junkyard in Ohio or Michigan, wherever it was with Rust Belt Garage. But I was gonna see if I could use these nice beefy washers, and they are the right diameter. But this is kind of funny, I think. So they must have heated the washers before they put them on these bolts. and then put them over the threads and then put them on because they don't come off. And in order to get them off, I would literally have to damage the threads. So pretty cool. I really like that captive washer design, and it's not, you know, super uncommon on Japanese vehicles, but usually not with fasteners that big. But so I could not use those, but these are super nice blue zinc coated bolts. They're the Euro bolts that everybody obsesses over because they're super, super nice. So I'm just gonna buy some new ones and buy some extra hardware while I'm at the store in case I need anything else. I think I am missing some washers, but I will show you, like I said, I do have some more hardware over here. I have the camber bolts and I have the other bolts with these little covers. By the way, if y'all didn't know what these little covers are for, if you've ever seen them on an Impreza, I didn't know either. They're actually just to protect this side of the bolt from puncturing the gas tank in the event of an accident. That's literally it. So they have these little caps that go over these little retainers because those sit right next to the gas tank on the subframe, and they don't want the bolt head to puncture the gas tank. Pretty cool. At least that's the only explanation I can find. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Real quick, folks, I do want to say thank you so much for anybody who has checked out the merch or bought it. I did add a few things since day one, if you haven't gone and looked again, including some double-sided tees, and I will be adding hats and beanies soon. I did suggest key tags to Teespring, and I can do a thing through them called Teespring Go, where I basically find a supplier for the key tags and ship them to Teespring, and then they do the merchandising for me. And I guess it doesn't really cost me anything on their end. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but you know, then I'd have to mark it up. So most likely, I know a lot of you want key tags, and I'm probably going to have to do those myself, and then I'll just sell them via like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, since I'm not going to do enough volume right this second to make it crazy. But do let me know if you want one in the comments, so that if I do end up ordering a set of key tags, for example, that y'all can get in on it. And let me know what you'd want to see on them. Most likely they would be the 802 Garage license plate logo, and then, you know, maybe some little saying. Don't know. Got to figure that out, which is another reason they're not out yet. I can do keychains on Teespring, but then I have to pay for a batch ahead of time, and I don't know what the minimum order is, and then you buy them as opposed to it being print on demand like the other stuff. So it's riskier for me, because if not enough people buy them, then I'm kind of out the money and have to sit on that for a while. And right this second, I'm not that flush on cash. At any rate, the point is, thank you very much for checking out the merchandise and for buying stuff. It's going really, really well, and I'm very, very happy. And overall, I've gotten a positive response so far, and there will be more in the future. With any luck, in the next video, you will see a lot more shiny black underneath this somewhat shiny, reddish, ruby-colored, rust-colored, that thing. You'll be seeing these other parts. Ooh, shiny underneath there. And I don't know, if we're really, really lucky, maybe the car will move next video. That would be my ideal goal, because it shouldn't take me that long to put that all together, even with proper torque specs and everything. That's gonna be all for tonight, folks. Thank you for watching 802 Garage. Really, really appreciate you. Leave a comment, leave a like. If you're new here, please do subscribe if you made it to the end. Of course, thanks for watching 802 Garage. I'll catch you very soon with another update on this, hopefully not endless, project pile. Yeah, we're gonna have a montage, bolt cleaning montage. Bye-bye. Thanks for the SR20. Have a wonderful time.